What is up, guys? Today we're going to be comparing the Galaxy A51 to the LG V40. So you can pick the A51 up for $300 and the V40 anywhere around, I think around $240 to $250. Be sure to hit up the links down below if you want to support the channel as well. Alright, so let's start with the hardware on the V40. So you do have a glass and metal design, and it definitely feels premium. You have a triple camera setup on the back, fingerprint scanner, little LG branding, and on the A51 you have a quad camera setup with the Pixel and iPhone like setup, Samsung branding. You have this beautiful psychedelic color. I talk about it all the time, just how beautiful it is. It's really nice looking in person. On the right side of the V40 you have the power button, and on the right side of the A51 you have the volume rocker and the power button as well. And on the left side you actually have your volume rockers on the V40 and your Google Assistant button, and you just have your SIM tray slot on the A51. Down below you have your 3.5mm jack on both, USB Type-C on both, and you also have one speaker on both as well. Alright, so for the display on the A51, you actually have a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display with a little punch hole in it. It is a 1080p display, 405 for the PPI. On the V40 you actually have a POLED display. It's a 6.4 inches 1440p display, and you have a a little notch right here, and you do have a 537 for the PPI as well. Both always on displays, and they're both two very beautiful displays. Now for media consumption, I'm going with the A51 all day over the notch right here. I just think the punch hole is much cleaner implementation here. Now they both have beautiful displays. As far as image quality and color, you will have a higher resolution actually on the V40, 1440p versus 1080p, and I get asked, can you really notice the difference in quality? And yes, you can notice the difference in quality, 1440p versus 1080p. So do keep that in mind. If you want a higher resolution display, if just having that is more important than then the V40 is going to be great. And if you just want a more cleaner, I guess, looking display with a little punch hole, not as distracting, definitely the A51, but that's definitely going to be a personal preference here. Now you have the same boombox speaker that you have on the G7 on the V40, and it's one of the best single speakers. So let's see how it compares to the A51, starting with the V40. So as you can hear, you definitely are going to get just a little bit more thump, a little bit fuller sound with the V40. But as you can see, the A51 still sounds really good, very bright, very clear sound as well at max volume. So they're both really good. Now on the V40 you have Android 9. This will receive the Android 10 update. You do have the Snapdragon 845 and the Adreno 630. Micro SD support, 64 gigs of storage and 6 gigs of RAM. You also have on the A51 you already have Android 10 on top of One UI 2.0, the Exynos 9611 processor and the Mali G72, micro SD support and 64 gigs of storage and 4 gigs of RAM. So the V40 is overall the more powerful device. So if I'm a gamer, then I'm definitely going with the V40 here, just because of the Snapdragon 845. It's going to be able to play all games on high along with that 6 gigs of RAM. So I'll be able to play Fortnite on here, as opposed to the A51. I cannot play Fortnite, but you will be able to play games on the A51 just fine as well with this mid-tier chip. Does do really great with gaming. Both have beautiful displays, but like I said, if I'm a gamer, I'm going with the V40. Alright, let's go ahead and do a quick speed test. Make sure we have all apps cleared out. I will do a full speed test if that's something you guys want to see. 3, 2, 1. Let's try the Play Store. 3, 2, 1. Let's try Call of Duty Mobile. 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, the V40 is the slightly faster device here. Now on the A51 is kind of like the highlight of the phone, the camera. So you have a quad camera setup. It is a 48 megapixel wide, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel dedicated macro camera, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. Shoots in 2160p, 30 fps. 32 megapixel selfie camera, shoots in 1080p. For the V40, you have a triple camera setup, 12 megapixel standard, 12 megapixel telephoto, 16 megapixel ultra wide, shoots in 2160p. You actually have dual camera setup for the selfie cameras, an 8 megapixel standard and a 5 megapixel wide camera for those wide group selfies. So you'll be able to fit everybody in the image. That also shoots in 1080p. Now, I actually found that taking photos on these phones are both excellent when you compare them to each other. They're pretty spot on in detail and color accuracy for these prices, so I really enjoyed taking photos on both these guys. I think they do a great job, so either phone you decide to go with, you're going to get an excellent camera. As you can see, come over here to the Funko Pops. You can see slight color difference in how it dealt with the brightness. They both kind of struggle with focusing here, kind of focus more on the background here. Let's see if I can come over. As you can see, again, V40 kind of got that color right. It was definitely more color accurate with this one. As you can see, more brown. The ISO kind of didn't fix itself on the A51 here. We are, in front of the same lighting situation, bright lights, and as you can see, it kind of was able to get more color accurate shot here. Now, one of the things that the V40 is missing is definitely that macro camera, and if you don't really care about macro photography, then it's not going to affect you. But if you like to get in really close on shots, the A51 has that, and something that I think is underrated and I really love. I love macro shots in general, but the A51 does lack that wide selfie camera, so you have the dual cameras on the front. So if you take a lot of selfies, you might want to consider the V40 here, but it really comes down to what kind of photos you're taking. But as far as photo quality, they both do pretty great. Now, the V40 is IP68 dust and water resistant, so if you get this phone wet, it will not break instantly. The A51 is not. They both support NFC for mobile payments, which is great. Bluetooth 5.0. As far as the fingerprint scanner situation, I would say it comes down to whether you want something cool or you want something fast. Now, the physical one on here is extremely fast. As you can see, I was able to unlock it. It's pretty much instant. Now, the A51, it's not as fast as the physical one, but it does work 100% of the time, pretty much. So it does work, it's just not as fast. So it comes down to that. They both have face unlock as well, which is extremely fast on both phones. Now, the V40 has a 3,300 milliamp battery, 18 watt fast charging, and it does support wireless charging as well, which is extremely convenient. If you've never had a phone with wireless charging, you will find it convenient, and it'll be hard to go back to phones without wireless charging. So do keep that in mind. That's a very, I guess, slept on feature. So don't sleep on that. Now, on the A51, you have a 4,000 milliamp battery with 15 watt fast charging, so it doesn't charge as fast as the V40, and you do not have wireless charging. But here's the trade-off with the A51. You have crazy battery life on here. You're looking at around 10 to 11 hours of screen on time for my battery drain test, and on the V40 you're looking at 6 hours of screen on time. So as you can see, big difference with battery life here. So it really comes down to that, if you can care about faster charging, wireless charging, or if you just care about having a phone that's going to last you 2 days straight, if not more. So definitely you know, benefits and trade-offs with both these phones. Very interesting. So which phone are you going with? Be sure to let me know why, and I will catch you guys in the next one.